My dear friends, in our journey through life, it often feels as though we are walking alone. We may face moments of deep sorrow, uncertainty, and hardship, but I am here to remind you today that no one is ever truly alone. God walks with us, and He calls us to walk alongside each other, offering a hand of support and compassion. Before we dive into today's message, I invite you to take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can be the first to receive inspiring content like this. And don't forget to share it with others, because together we can spread hope and encouragement to the world. Now, let's begin. We are all children of God, and as such, we are all connected in a bond that transcends the barriers that might otherwise divide us. In this vast world, it's easy to forget that we share more similarities than differences. Regardless of our backgrounds, cultures, or experiences, we are bound together in the beautiful tapestry of God's creation. Each person we meet, whether in our immediate circle or across the world, is a brother or sister on this same journey of life. This shared humanity is what unites us, and it is a reminder that no one is ever truly alone. Think of how God has designed us. He created us to be social beings, meant to live in community and to care for one another. From the very beginning, He called upon us to love one another, just as He loves us. It is in this love that we find our true connection to one another. When one person suffers, it touches all of us. When one person experiences joy, it becomes a shared celebration for all of us. We are not isolated individuals, but rather, we are members of a larger family that stretches across time and space. We are called to stand together, to lift each other up in times of difficulty, and to celebrate one another's triumphs. In our journey, we will face moments when we feel like we are walking alone. Perhaps in times of loss, hardship, or loneliness, it seems like the world has turned its back on us. But in truth, this is never the case. Even in our darkest moments, God is with us, and He has placed people around us, whether near or far, to remind us of His presence and His love. We are part of this great family that spans the entire globe, and there is no place too far, no person too distant, where God cannot reach out to us through the love of others. When we embrace the truth that we are all part of the same family, we begin to see each person not as a stranger, but as a beloved member of that family. We see beyond differences and begin to recognize the shared experiences of joy, pain, hope, and fear. We are all walking this path together, and in our unity, we are stronger. As part of this family, we are called to care for one another, to offer our support in times of need, and to walk alongside those who are struggling. This is the essence of community, working together, sharing the weight of each other's burdens, and offering the comfort of knowing that we are never alone. In the grand scheme of life, our differences, our experiences, our paths, our dreams become much smaller when we recognize that we are all part of something greater. And when we truly understand this, we are more likely to act with compassion, understanding, and kindness toward each other. For we know that each person we encounter is part of our larger family. God's presence in our lives is a constant and unshakable reality, even though we often fail to recognize it. It is easy, in the hustle and bustle of daily life, to become distracted and forget that the Creator of the universe is always near to us, offering His love and guidance. But the truth is, God is never distant and He is always present, not just in our moments of joy and celebration, but especially in our struggles, doubts, and fears. From the very beginning, we are reminded that God has walked with His people. In the Garden of Eden, He walked beside Adam and Eve, guiding them with His love. Even when humanity faltered, God did not abandon us. He sent His prophets, His messengers, to continually remind us that His presence was with us, even when we were lost or unaware. Through all the generations, through all the pain and suffering, God's presence remained, patiently waiting for us to turn to Him. In the person of Jesus Christ, God came to walk among us in a tangible, human form, showing us the depth of His love and His commitment to be with us always. Yet, even in our times of hardship or loneliness, we can forget that God is present. When we face trials, when we experience pain, we may feel abandoned, as if God is distant or far away. But this is simply not the case. God's presence is always with us, though we may not always perceive it. In Psalm 23, we are comforted by the reminder, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." These words echo the truth that no matter how dark our paths may seem, we are not walking alone. God walks beside us, guiding us, sustaining us, and providing the strength we need to persevere. There are moments in life when we feel overwhelmed by our circumstances, when the weight of the world feels too heavy to bear, and we wonder how we will make it through. In those times, it is easy to think that God has forgotten us, but He has not. His presence is more than just a comforting thought. It is a reality that sustains us. Sometimes, God's presence is felt in the stillness, in the quiet moments where He speaks to our hearts, offering peace amidst chaos. Other times, His presence is manifested through the kindness and compassion of others, those who reach out to us when we are struggling, who offer a helping hand or a listening ear. These moments are God's way of reminding us that we are never alone. God's presence also calls us to recognize that we are never abandoned in our weaknesses. In our moments of doubt, He does not turn away from us. Instead, He draws nearer, offering His strength when ours runs out. The Apostle Paul spoke of this truth when he said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. Even in our moments of fragility, God is there, not condemning us for our vulnerability, but offering us the grace to rise again. In those moments, we experience His love most profoundly as He teaches us that our strength comes from Him, not from ourselves. As we go through life, we are often so consumed with our own plans, desires, and goals that we forget to acknowledge God's presence in the midst of them. We may go about our daily routines and tasks, thinking we are walking alone, or that our efforts are all we can rely on. But God is there in every step we take, in every breath we breathe. He is in the mundane and the extraordinary in every moment. When we pause to reflect on His presence, we begin to see that He is there, quietly working in the background, orchestrating our lives in ways we cannot even imagine. Moreover, God's presence is not just something that comforts us in times of need. is a presence that empowers us to live boldly. When we understand that God is with us, we are emboldened to face challenges that would otherwise overwhelm us. We can take risks in faith, knowing that we do not face life's challenges alone. We can love more deeply, give more generously, and serve more humbly, because we know that God's presence is the source of all we have and all we are. Ultimately, God's presence in our lives is a gift that we must learn to recognize and cherish. It is a gift that calls us into deeper communion with Him and with each other. It is a gift that reminds us that no matter what we face, we are never abandoned. God is with us always, walking beside us, lifting us up when we fall, and guiding us when we lose our way. And it is this presence that gives us the courage to face each new day with faith and hope, knowing that we are never truly alone. The power of community is one of the most profound gifts we are given in life. As human beings, we are not meant to journey through life in isolation. We are created for relationship with God and with one another. This is why community holds such incredible power. It is through the support, love, and connection with others that we find strength, encouragement, and purpose. In a world that often emphasizes individuality and self-sufficiency, it is essential to remember that we are stronger together than we are apart. When we think about the power of community, we can look at the example set by the early church. In the book of Acts, we are told that the early believers were all together and had everything in common. They supported each other in every way, sharing their possessions, their time, and their lives. This deep sense of unity, of being together in both good times and bad, was what made the community of believers so powerful. It was not just about gathering in numbers, but about fostering a sense of belonging and mutual care. The early church recognized that when one person is uplifted, the whole community is strengthened, and when one person suffers, it is the community's responsibility to bear that burden. The power of community lies in its ability to provide support during times of difficulty. We all face moments of hardship, times when the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry alone. It is during these times that community becomes a lifeline. Whether through a kind word, a helping hand, or simply the presence of someone who listens, the power of community lies in its capacity to surround individuals with love and understanding. There is a saying, in times of trouble, we discover who our real friends are. But the beauty of community is that in times of trouble, we don't have to face our struggles alone. The community steps in, offering not just emotional support, but practical help as well. One of the most transformative aspects of community is the way it encourages growth and development. When we are surrounded by others who share our values, beliefs, and goals, we are naturally uplifted to become better versions of ourselves. Community provides accountability, guidance, and encouragement that propel us forward on our individual journeys. It is often through our relationships with others that we learn to forgive, to be patient, to love unconditionally, and to serve selflessly. The community provides a mirror through which we can reflect on our own actions and behaviors, helping us to grow not just in our relationship with God, but also in our relationships with others. Moreover, community has the power to amplify joy. When we celebrate together, whether it's a milestone achievement, the birth of a child, or simply the beauty of a shared moment. Joy is magnified in the presence of others. The joy of one becomes the joy of all, and together we experience the fullness of life in ways that we cannot when we are alone. The power of community is that it helps us realize that life is meant to be lived in fellowship, where every moment, whether big or small, is shared and cherished together. Another key strength of community is its ability to provide a sense of purpose. As individuals, we may sometimes struggle with questions of identity and direction. But within the context of a community, our roles and contributions take on greater significance. We are reminded that we are part of something larger than ourselves, and that our actions matter to those around us. This sense of purpose, knowing that our lives are intertwined with the lives of others, can be a powerful motivator. It inspires us to serve, to give, and to work for the common good, knowing that our efforts are building up the entire body of the community. Additionally, community fosters a spirit of empathy. When we share our lives with others, we come to understand their struggles and joys. This empathy leads to deeper compassion, as we begin to see the world not just through our own eyes, but through the eyes of others. The struggles of one person become the struggles of the community, and the successes of one person become the triumphs of all. It is in this shared experience that we develop a deep understanding of one another, breaking down barriers of judgment and building up the bonds of unity. The power of community is also seen in its ability to bring healing. For those who are grieving, lonely, or broken, the community becomes a source of restoration. It is in the embrace of others that wounds begin to heal, both emotionally and spiritually. Just as a single thread in a tapestry may be fragile, when woven together with others, it becomes part of a strong, vibrant whole. Likewise, when we are connected to others in meaningful ways, we find healing and strength that we could not access alone. Finally, community is a reminder that we are not the sum of our individual efforts. We are interconnected, and it is in our shared lives that we find true fulfillment. Life is not about doing everything by ourselves, nor is it about achieving success alone. It is about walking together, sharing burdens, lifting each other up, and celebrating life's blessings together. The power of community is that it makes us realize that our lives are richer, fuller, and more meaningful when we live in harmony with others. In essence, the power of community is the power of love, support, and shared purpose. It is through community that we discover who we are, and it is in community that we find the strength to become all that we are called to be. We were not made to walk alone. We were made to walk together, to journey side by side, and to share in the beautiful, challenging, and transformative experience of life. Through community, we can truly experience the fullness of God's love, and it is through community that we are able to make a difference in the world around us. Courage and hope in times of difficulty are two of the most powerful forces that can carry us through the darkest moments of life. In times of hardship, when everything seems uncertain and the road ahead feels overwhelmingly difficult, these qualities can be the light that guides us forward. It is easy to feel lost or defeated when faced with trials, But courage and hope remind us that even in the most challenging times, there is strength to be found, and there is always a way forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to act despite fear. In fact, it is often in the presence of fear that courage is most needed. When we are faced with hardship, whether it's personal loss, illness, financial struggles, or emotional pain, it's natural to feel afraid. Fear can paralyze us, making it hard to take the next step or to see beyond our current circumstances. But courage is what allows us to stand up in the face of that fear and to keep moving forward, one step at a time. Courage comes from a deep understanding that we do not face our difficulties alone. God is with us, and He gives us the strength to keep going, even when we feel weak. Courage is knowing that even though we may not have all the answers, we can trust that the next step will reveal itself in time. In the most difficult moments, courage also requires us to trust in something greater than ourselves. We may feel as though we have reached the limit of our own strength, but it is precisely in those moments that we discover the power of faith. Courage in times of difficulty is built on the foundation of trust in God's plan for us, even when we don't understand it. It's an act of surrender, choosing to trust in God's wisdom, love, and timing, even when life feels uncertain. This kind of courage is not rooted in our own abilities, but in our faith that God is present, working alongside us, and that His strength is sufficient for whatever challenges we face. Hope, on the other hand, is the belief that better days are ahead, even when the current moment feels overwhelming. Hope is what allows us to look beyond our present circumstances and see the possibility of change, renewal, and transformation. When everything around us feels like it is falling apart, hope is the steady flame that reminds us that this moment is not the end. Hope is what allows us to hold on, to keep our eyes on the horizon, and to believe that there is a purpose to our suffering. It is a belief that even in the darkest times, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Hope is deeply connected to faith. When we hope, we are not simply wishing for things to get better. Hope is rooted in a deep trust that in God's time, things will change. It is this trust that enables us to hold on when everything seems lost. In times of difficulty, we may not see the way forward, and we may not know how we will overcome our struggles. But hope gives us the strength to keep moving, to keep trusting, and to keep believing that God is working behind the scenes, even when we cannot see it. Hope is the quiet assurance that the trials we face are not in vain, and that they are shaping us into the people we are meant to become. Courage and hope are intertwined in a beautiful way. Courage is the action we take, and hope is the belief that sustains that action. They work together to propel us forward, even when the road is hard. It is easy to become discouraged in times of difficulty, to look around and see only the weight of the struggle. But when we have hope, we can find meaning in the struggle itself. We can trust that each step, each moment of hardship, is part of a larger journey that will lead us to a place of healing, growth, and transformation. The Bible reminds us time and again that God is close to the brokenhearted and that He strengthens those who are weak. In Psalm 34:18 it says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." This promise is a beacon of hope. a reminder that even in the hardest times, God is with us, and He will not leave us to face our difficulties alone. This knowledge gives us the courage to face whatever comes our way, because we know that God's love will carry us through. It is important to remember that courage and hope are not just abstract concepts. They are lived out in the choices we make every day. In the face of adversity, we can choose to be courageous, to take the next step even when we don't know what lies ahead. We can choose to hope, to trust that tomorrow holds the possibility of something better. These choices are powerful because they shape our hearts and minds, giving us the strength to endure. Moreover, courage and hope are contagious. When we choose to act with courage and live with hope, we inspire those around us to do the same. In a world that can often feel dark and overwhelming, our actions of faith and hope can be a light to others. Just as a single flame can light an entire room, our courage and hope can spark change in the lives of those around us, encouraging them to keep going when they feel like giving up. We are not just strengthening ourselves, but also the community around us, creating a network of support and love that can help all of us to persevere through difficult times. In conclusion, courage and hope are gifts that we must cultivate in our lives, especially in times of difficulty. They are not easy to hold on to when life is hard, but they are the keys to resilience. Courage gives us the strength to take action, and hope gives us the belief that our struggles have purpose and will lead to something greater. When we combine these two qualities with our faith in God, we find the strength to face anything. And it is through courage and hope that we can emerge from our trials stronger, more compassionate, and more deeply connected to the love and grace of God. Walking with others in compassion and love is one of the most profound ways we can express our shared humanity. It is an invitation to step into the lives of others, not merely to observe from a distance, but to actively engage with them, sharing in both their joys and their sorrows. To walk with others in compassion means to meet them where they are, to embrace their struggles as our own, and to offer our presence and support without judgment. It is a call to live out the values of empathy, kindness, and love that are at the heart of the teachings of Jesus Christ. Compassion is more than just a feeling. It is an action that requires us to be present with others in their pain. When we walk with someone in compassion, we open our hearts to their suffering, offering not just sympathy, but a willingness to bear some of the weight of their burden. This is not an easy task, as it demands vulnerability and a willingness to set aside our own comfort to stand beside someone else in their time of need. Compassion calls us to look beyond our own lives and concerns, to put ourselves in the shoes of others, and to offer our hearts in solidarity. It is about extending a hand to lift someone up when they have fallen and offering a listening ear when they need to speak. It is in these simple acts of kindness that the love of God is made manifest. Love, too, is not a passive emotion. It is a decision, a commitment to act in the best interest of others, even when it is difficult or inconvenient. Walking with others in love means choosing to invest in their well-being, not just when it's easy, but especially when it requires sacrifice. Love compels us to be there for others in their darkest moments, to offer them hope and encouragement when they feel lost, and to celebrate with them in their moments of joy. Love is patient, kind, and long-suffering, as the Apostle Paul reminds us in 1 Corinthians 13. It does not seek its own benefit, but always looks for the good of the other person. To walk with others in love is to give freely of ourselves without expecting anything in return. One of the most beautiful aspects of walking with others in compassion and love is the way it builds community. When we make the choice to walk alongside others, we create bonds that are grounded in mutual care and respect. These bonds provide a foundation of trust and support that strengthen us as individuals and as a collective. In a world that can sometimes feel fractured and divided, walking with others in love becomes an act of unity. It helps to bridge the gaps between us, breaking down barriers of misunderstanding and prejudice, and creating a space where we can be fully ourselves, without fear of judgment or rejection. Walking with others also means recognizing the unique needs and experiences of each person. Compassion requires us to see others as they truly are, not as projects to be fixed or problems to be solved, but as individuals with their own struggles, dreams, and histories. It means listening deeply with empathy and openness, and offering support in ways that are truly helpful to them. This could mean offering a shoulder to cry on, providing practical assistance, or simply being a quiet presence in their lives when words are unnecessary. Love and compassion do not come with a set agenda or a desire to change the other person. They come with a deep respect for their dignity and humanity. In our relationships with others, walking in compassion and love also involves forgiveness. We all make mistakes, and sometimes we hurt others, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Walking with others in love means being willing to extend forgiveness, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's difficult. It means choosing to heal wounds rather than allowing them to fester, and working toward reconciliation instead of division. Forgiveness frees both the one who is hurt and the one who has wronged, allowing both to move forward in peace and unity. It is an essential part of love and compassion, as it opens the door for deeper connection and understanding. Moreover, walking with others in compassion and love means recognizing the power of presence. Often, we may feel that we need to do something significant to help someone in their time of need. But sometimes, the most important thing we can offer is simply our presence. Just being there for someone, sitting quietly with them, offering a comforting touch, or sharing a word of encouragement can make all the difference. In these moments, we are not trying to fix the situation or offer solutions. We are simply letting the other person know that they are not alone. This kind of presence speaks volumes about our commitment to walking with them in their pain, in their joy, and in all the moments in between. When we walk with others in compassion and love, we are also walking in the footsteps of Christ. Jesus, throughout his ministry, exemplified what it meant to walk with others in compassion. He reached out to the marginalized, healed the sick, comforted the grieving, and showed love to those whom society had cast aside. He did not simply preach love from a distance. He lived it, walking side by side with people in their everyday struggles. His love was radical because it crossed boundaries, extended grace to the undeserving, and invited others into a relationship of unconditional care. By walking with others in compassion and love, we mirror His actions, and in doing so, we become instruments of His grace in the world. Walking with others in compassion and love also transforms us. When we choose to invest in the well-being of others, we begin to see the world through a lens of empathy and kindness. Our hearts grow in compassion, and our lives become more aligned with the values of the kingdom of God. We learn to love more deeply, to listen more attentively, and to give more freely. The act of walking alongside others not only impacts them, but also shapes us, molding us into the people we are called to be. We begin to realize that true fulfillment does not come from what we achieve for ourselves, but from the love we give to others. In conclusion, walking with others in compassion and love is a profound expression of our shared humanity and our faith. It is an act of kindness that builds bridges, heals wounds, and creates lasting bonds of trust and support. It is a choice to see others not for what they can do for us, but for who they are as beloved children of God. It is through walking with others in compassion and love that we embody the heart of Christ and participate in the healing of the world around us. As we walk together, we discover that our own burdens are lighter, our hearts are fuller, and our lives are richer because of the love we share with one another. The theme of the speech is walking with others in compassion and love. It emphasizes the importance of being present with others in their struggles and joys, offering support, empathy, and unconditional love. The speech highlights how compassion and love not only help others, but also transform ourselves, fostering deeper connections, healing, and unity within communities. Through walking alongside others with a heart of kindness and understanding, we embody the teachings of Jesus and participate in the healing and restoration of the world around us. Let us remember, my dear friends, that we never walk alone. God is with us, and He has given us each other. In every trial, in every joy, we are called to walk together, supporting and uplifting one another. Let us be the light to those who are struggling, the strength for those who are weak, and the hope for those who are lost. May we walk in faith, in love, and in the unwavering belief that we are never truly alone. God bless you all.